Have you ever heard the term home job tattoos or backyard tattoos or kitchen wizards or scratches or anything like that? And you wonder, what are they? Stay tuned for what home job tattoos are and why you should avoid them. Hey guys, I'm Hayley Tattooer and this is Tattoo Talk, and today we're going to talk about home job tattoos. So, what are they? Home job tattoos are tattoos that are performed in an environment that is not a tattoo studio or basically at somebody's house. But before we get to that, I just want to add in a little explanation that some professional tattoo artists that have had an apprenticeship and are very highly qualified do prefer to work out of a private studio from their home. And this is a private studio is something that has been set up in a licensed and clean fashion, something that is regulated by the local health department, that kind of thing, a sterile environment, everything sorted out. But that is not what a home job tattoo is. A home job tattoo is by somebody who works from home in a non-sterile environment and has not completed a tattoo apprenticeship and is not licensed. Generally, these people will have purchased a tattoo kit offline or through a friend or something like that, not through professional avenues. Who gets home job tattoos? So, there are a few reasons why somebody would probably opt for a home job tattoo, and the main reason would be price. A lot of people don't want to pay the hourly rate for a professional to do their tattoo. So tattoos are, as a general rule, are expensive. They are a luxury, but they require a lot of training, a lot of overhead expenses, a lot of licensing, that kind of thing. So that pushes the price of tattoos up a little bit. However, because a person working from home without all those licenses, without expensive equipment, who don't take the time and the expense to put cross-contamination things over everything in their workstation, obviously their expenses would be a lot lower, so they tend to charge a lot cheaper. But that also reflects on the quality of their work. Another reason why somebody would get a home job tattoo is because they are not the legal age to get a tattoo. So in most places 18, in some places 16 with parent permission, but somebody who is underage would not be able to get a tattoo in a professional studio, so they will seek out somebody who does home job tattoos kind of in a substandard conditions, who wouldn't really have the ethical dilemma to put a tattoo on an underage person. I'm going to do a video in the future about underage tattoos and why you should wait, so keep an eye out for that one. Other people that get home job tattoos are probably friends of people who are doing home job tattoos and want somebody to practice on, or they've been given the offer of a free tattoo or a cheap tattoo and they'll just take it up, probably because of lack of education on the process of getting a tattoo, or they think that their friend is a fantastic artist or something like that, but that doesn't necessarily translate into a good tattoo artist, so just watch out for that one. And finally, one of the main reasons people would get a home job tattoo is perhaps they were intoxicated. A lot of the time, I spent a large amount of my career doing cover-up jobs of home job tattoos, and they always start with a sentence, oh well, I was at a party and I've had a couple of drinks, and voila, you've got yourself a home job tattoo that you probably didn't plan for at the beginning of the night. Why are home job tattoos a bad idea? So, home job tattoo artists have not completed an apprenticeship or a traineeship, have had no training in infection control guidelines and prevention of blood pathogen transfer and cross-contamination. And there are some really important things that you learn in a tattoo apprenticeship, such as the depth that a needle should be set in the tattoo machine, and the tuning and the voltage at which a tattoo machine should be operated. Also, how to ensure that the skin is not overworked, because if you overwork skin, you end up with a scab and an open wound that could potentially lead to a staph infection, that kind of thing. And also, they've not been taught the design elements that really make a good tattoo, and how to make a tattoo flow on the body, or placement wise, or, you know, just basically basic little things that you don't think about that a professional tattoo artist would have learned during an apprenticeship so that they are able to provide you with a really high quality tattoo. So home job tattoo artists haven't learned those things. They are basically guessing, and they're self-taught, probably just through sort of practicing on people or, you know, YouTube videos and that kind of thing, and that it was really not the ideal way to learn how to tattoo. You really need somebody that has a lot of experience to show you how to do it, because there's so many variables. So because they have not had a tattoo apprenticeship, other things that could happen is they haven't been explained and they haven't done their course on infection control and blood pathogens. And so what this means is basically we really need a sterile environment. There are certain cleaning procedures and cleaning products and sterilization products and that kind of thing that you need that home job tattoo artists generally do not have. They don't provide cross-contamination barriers. Therefore, if they're tattooing multiple people, even if they're not tattooing multiple people, there are still bacteria and germs that can be transferred into your fresh tattoo if sterility and cross-contamination guidelines have not been met. So you're opening up yourself to a world of infections, and you're opening yourself up to blood-borne diseases. So your hepatitis and your HIV, that kind of thing, things that stay with you forever. And just a side note, you may get a home job tattoo artist that does say, that's okay, I use new needles and everything, I sterilize my equipment. And let me tell you, simply using a new needle every client is not enough to prevent transfer of bloodborne diseases. And chances are, if they don't own a several $1,000 sterilizer or autoclave that is getting serviced regularly by a proper service technician, which I highly doubt that somebody in a home setup would, then their equipment is not sterile enough to be used. And again, even if they're using disposable pieces to their equipment, if they are not using correct cross-contamination guidelines and sterility guidelines, those things are almost void. You can still receive cross-contamination, which is very serious. That's playing with people's health and playing with people's lives. And again, so those are like bloodborne diseases. You can also get infections, so bacteria that gets into your skin, and you can end up with staph infections and all kinds of infections that can then lead to blood poisoning, that kind of thing. This is all stuff that we learn in a studio environment, in an apprenticeship, and people at home have not learned. So health issues aside, you're probably going to get substandard quality artwork as well if you seek out a home tattooer. And the reason for this is, if that person's artwork was of a high standard, they would have been able to obtain an apprenticeship through a professional studio. If they were not able to obtain an apprenticeship through a professional studio, it is most likely because their art is not developed enough to a point where they deserve that apprenticeship. So every situation differs, but that is just a bit of a generalization, but you really have to be careful of the quality of artwork that you're going to receive. Quality of the actual tattoo aside, the design is still extremely important. And somebody also with a home setup does not have access to, you know, like sizing and orientation and stencil machines that allow you the flexibility to say, oh, I think my tattoo is a little bit too small. Can we size it up a little bit, reprint it and re-stencil it? So those are things that are kind of taken for granted. People might not think that if you go to get a home job tattoo, a lot of the times they may just freehand it straight onto your body in an unsterile way, or they've got kind of like a small home cheap printer and can't resize it on that printer. So you kind of get what you're given in that sense. Another reason why they're a bad idea, particularly if you are underage, is because the reason that you are not able to get tattooed while you're underage is because your body is still growing. So the tattoo may become distorted if you kind of have like another growth spurt after the age of 16 or 18 or whatever. But also, as much as you think that the tattoo idea that you have is great and timeless and you really want it and you want it forever, when you are so young, when you are sort of 14, 15, 16, everything seems so real to you, but you kind of may not have the life experience and the idea of how long forever is until you've experienced a little bit more time than 15 years on the planet. So another reason why it's a bad idea to get a home job tattoo is because home job tattoo artists are actually illegal. It is against the law to work in a substandard environment, in an unlicensed environment. In Australia, it's illegal in two ways. First of all, you have to work from a premises that is licensed through the health department. Secondly, you have to have a tattooist license, which is monitored by the Office of Fair Trading. So, if your artist doesn't have either of those things, they are operating illegally, and you do not want to get tied up in that. I guess it comes back to the poor man pays twice thing. If you get a home job tattoo and you end up regretting it, then you have to spend, because you've gone for the cheap option or whatever reason you've gone that option, you then have to, down the track, if you wish to get rid of it, pay money to have it lasered or pay money to have it covered. So that brings me to why you should wait to get a professional to do it. If your budget is low, just wait. Tattoos are a luxury. You don't want to end up having to pay extra to get it lasered or covered down the track. It is much wiser to budget a little bit every week, even if it's just $5 every week. Ask your friends and family if they're going to get you birthday or Christmas gifts to get you a tattoo voucher. That's another way to save from a reputable tattoo studio. If you wait and you get a professional to do it, you're going to get a tattoo where you have peace of mind that you're not going to get bloodborne infection or a skin infection. You're going to get a tattoo that is well thought out, that is the style that you want by an artist that knows what they're doing. You're going to be given aftercare instructions that work, and you've got peace of mind that you're not just getting a tattoo in substandard conditions, because there's so many things that could go wrong. Again, I want to remind you that there are some professional artists that work from a private studio that is licensed, that are operated within the local health rules. These are not home job tattoos. These are private studio tattoos, home jobs by somebody who has not received an apprenticeship or any training. So there are probably a lot of people on YouTube that'll be cranky at me for posting this video, but that's okay. It's the client's well-being that I have in mind. If you have any questions about home job tattoos or laser removal or cover-ups or tattoo regret or anything like that, please pop them in the comments and I will address them in a future video, or I'll reply to you in the comments. And if you want to pop over to my Instagram, Hayley Tattooer, have a look at some of my work and see some stories about my life and that kind of thing. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.